Hello there, I'm Rex Proctor. Thank you for joining me in this screencast. We're going to take a look at workflow actions. These are sequences of actions that you can attach to a markup button. But first, I'm going to set up a bit of interface in order to show you how to use this workflow. And in these screencasts, I do like to show how we're thinking about how you might use these features. So I'm going to split my interface. And I'm going to grab a movie, put it on top, put that on the bottom. I'm going to split to the bottom. Now here I've got a little composer template because this is something that I reuse over and over. It's got all of my empty topics that are all created with the right naming conventions and so forth. And then I'm going to split to the left and we'll add our little workflow template. That's going to be my markup that I'll reuse over and over and over again. Make that a little bit smaller. I'll name the super tab. Call this Rex. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to create a new window out of it. So I'm going to clone this window and we'll call this Rex and I'll hit return. And then I'm going to rename the window. Call that the Rex window. And I'll close off my template. Now you'll see what happened here is that we've now created a new folder. We've copied all those templated, things that I've created into that new folder, thus not ruining, the template. If I want to jump back to that template, all I have to do is go find my template window, and then I can, I could add a different movie in, I could change something out, I could make a new timeline in there, and then I can just go ahead and rerun that cloning process to generate, another folder that I want to distribute that has everything ready to go to whoever I'm distributing to. All right, so now let's take a look at the workflow actions. So here I have a clip button and I've added a clip note composer action to that. So there are 3 different types of workflow actions currently. You have clip, which is whatever is being created or selected. Then I have the note. It's going to prompt for a note. Then it's going to paste it into the composer. We have also take the clip, paste it in the composer, then prompt for a note. And then we have clip directly to the composer. The reason you might have these 2 flipped, meaning note to composer, composer to note, is you may not want the note to get into the timeline. So you might choose composer note and the note will only get inserted into that clip into the composer. But let's have a look at the first one. So I'm going to jump into mark mode and I'm going to tap Q. That starts marking the clip into the timeline. And then when I go up with the button, it prompts me for a note. And then I hit Control Return to dispose of that. And you'll see that when I hover, the note gets into the clip in the timeline and into the clip into the composer. So that's kind of a handy thing. But let's take a look at the second one quickly. And this is clip composer note. So it will go paste in the composer, then prompt you for the note. And here you can set this on up or on down. Sometimes it makes sense you can only do it on the up, such as when you're generating a clip. But if you're using a qualifier, you may want it to go directly on the down. So let's jump back into mark mode and go Q. Q, you'll see the paste occurs, and then I'll just go composer only, Control Return. Now if I hover over that clip in the timeline, there's no note, and the note gets inserted only into the composer because the clip was pasted first in the composer, and then the workflow said prompt for a note. And the last one is just direct to the composer. So it won't prompt you for anything. Bam, bam, and it pastes it straight in. Now let's take a look at we have qualifiers that will take the clip, insert the qualifier, take the note, and then insert it into the composer and the timeline clip. So basically the same thing, however, we're inserting a qualifier which gives you an extra hook for filtering and so forth. So let's go into our attack here, there, and there. Let's select those again. And then I'll press play to engage. Now notice we are in qualifier mode. So if I'm trying to use a clip button like my Q button for the Rex clip, it will not work. Qualifier mode is indicated by the red playhead here in the timeline. Now, if I like this clip, I can go W. That will insert the qualifier because it's a qualifier that was done. And then I can write, this is a qualifier note. And I go return. And you'll see that gets pasted in there with the thumbs up emoji qualifier. And the timeline clip receives that as well. So if we're just trucking along here, I'll let it jump down to the next one. And if I say, oh, this is an R, this is a poo emoji icon. And I write, this is rubbish. Control return, and that pastes that in there. So the advantage, here of using emojis is that you can filter for them, quite easily. So if I look in there and I want to grab that emoji, I can then use the filter, and I can filter out, anything with the poo emoji in it. So that's kind of a neat way of using emojis, and it becomes very obvious. So those are the qualifier actions. Pretty simple to use and very, very versatile in that you can attach those to any markup button, well, any clip qualifier and none button, I should say. The last little bit that I want to show is a new little feature that couples this with remembering the markup mode. So if you're distributing this and you say you want, when the recipient double clicks, that it's all ready to go and all they have to do is just select the clips that they want to say, go into qualifier mode with. So if we remember the markup mode, when I quit, and I'll grab my Rex folder and I double click, that markup mode will be remembered. So if I turn that off and I quit and then I double click, it remembers that it was off. So if you switch that on, quit, and then distribute, it will remember the mode. So all I have to do is just go, I want to start going into these clips. I go like that, and then I'll press E. That'll paste in there. And so I can jump straight into that mode, and all I have to do is select some clips, and away you go, and things start happening. So a really neat little feature that you can use to make the end user there have one less step.